Welcome back. I decided to just pop in here and create another video before I started talking about the tracking of our habits because I thought about a few things that I thought were really important to bring up. I really wanted to talk today about how habits don't need to be something that are like regimented and hardcore, that they're really designed to be something to help you to create the life that you wish to be living, the life that you are here to live, and help you to become more of your true self. And so often we're focused on what we should be doing, and we're really literally like doing things that other people are doing. Like I have so often started a new habit because a friend was doing something and I just got excited about doing it, but it didn't necessarily feel really aligned with what I want to be creating in my life. And so I would get halfway through this sort of like challenge, and then I would be a little disappointed in what I was doing, or I would peter out on it because it was really never meant to be for me anyway. And so one of the ways that we can create habits that are actually a little easier to do is to make sure that they really are aligned with who we are, what our goals are in our life, the person that we actually came here to be, and the life that we actually are meant to live. It will be more aligned, because if you're trying to live someone else's life, well, of course it's going to be hard to do it, right? If we're doing something because we think we should do it or because society says it's the right thing, it's not going to feel aligned. And so it's going to be harder to do. So my name is Deb Blum, and I am a self-love and authenticity coach. I'm the host of this YouTube channel and also the creator of the SelfLove Base Camp, which is a membership group that is designed for women who do way too much but never feel like they're enough and want to be on the journey to love themselves so that they can actually really be who they truly are, speak their truth, be able to create the life that they're meant to be living. And that is why we are here today, is to talk about how to create habits to be able to live that way. And so here's the thing about this. I talked a little bit about this on video number 2, where I talked about the vision and the bigger overarching vision. But then I thought about it more, and I was like, I woke up this morning and I was feeling some grief. And I have a lot of reasons to feel grief right now because I have some things going on in my life that are hard. And but I was feeling it in a heavier way, and I realized that these things that are happening, which are really kind of centered around loss. It's what I'm really looking at is how life just goes by so fast. Like I can't even believe it feels like. I feel like even things that used to feel like they took a long time, like if I was bored, it would feel like it was going to take a long time to make it through that day. But even those things now, they feel like they fly by. And I think I'm grieving the loss of life. That I've spent 50 years here on this earth existence as a human, and just questioning, am I doing everything that I really want to be doing? Am I really living the life I want to live? And that is where habits can come into play, is to make sure that you don't have habits that are things that are not things you want to be doing. Because since our life is so precious and time is such a precious commodity, to make sure that we aren't engaging in habits that feel like they're not life enriching, feel like they're not our own, like me, in other words, doing things that other people think we should be doing, or doing things we think we should be doing because then we're going to be accepted by others, kind of living our life for other people. Or even living our life in a place of just like being chronically addicted to sort of negativity or overthinking or worrying, or chronically addicted to things that help us to avoid living this life, like ways we distract ourselves because we don't want to experience maybe negative feelings. And one thing that I've been learning, it's been a really hard journey for me, is that life is really just meant to be experienced. And when we're spending all of our time kind of resisting things, that's when we start to see things like anxiety and depression pop up. That's when we have addictions. And that's when when we're not willing and able, because it is a journey. It's not something you could just decide. Well, maybe some people can, but that's not been my experience. My experience has been something that I've had to peel back all of the layers of all the things that hold me back from being able to be present with my experience. But to me, the habits that I want to form are going to be more around habits that really are aligned with me living my truest version of myself and the life that I was meant to live and the life I want to be living. And that's where habits can be amazing. And so I would encourage you to be thinking about what you want to be creating in your life when you think about habits. And not only do we want to look at what habits are the new habits we want to be forming, but also it could be the habits that we want to let go of. And sometimes those can be as hard to actually be successful in getting rid of because they're so entrenched in us, you know? And so I also want to talk about something else around habits, which is that sometimes we think a habit is like a regimented way of being. But when you think about habits, I mean, like, for example, my work on my business, like, I don't necessarily get up every single day at a specific time and decide I'm going to do a specific thing in a specific way, and that's what's going to make me successful. But I do make a commitment to myself that every single day I'm going to make a list of a few things that I'm going to get done on my business, and then I'm going to do those things. So that can be the extent of regimen that you have. It doesn't have to be that it all has to happen exactly when you say it, exactly how you thought it would be. Sometimes it's just like, oh, well, I want to make sure that I am interactive with my membership group today. Well, I might not know what that's going to look like, but I do make the commitment that I'm going to show up every day. And then I'm going to allow for whatever it is that feels like it's the right thing to be doing in that group to do that. So same thing can be like you can make a commitment that you want to spend more time, say, doing fun things. But you might not know what that fun thing is, but every day you might commit to doing something fun. So you see what I'm saying? That it's not habits. Sometimes they can be something that needs to be a little more regimented, especially in the beginning. You might need to have a little bit more discipline that's in place around it. But eventually the idea is that it becomes part of who you are, and then you just do it. And then I think the other piece around this is sometimes you can actually even just have a habit that you're trying to create, which is around discipline. So for me, sometimes I kind of slack off a little bit and I don't have as much discipline in my life. And so I try to bring a habit in around discipline. Like, for example, I might say to myself, well, I really just want to build discipline in around keeping my house more clean. So I'm going to just be more vigilant about when I see something that's misplaced, just putting it away. And so I build in that habit of discipline, and it starts to kind of pour over into other areas. So rather than me saying that I'm going to be doing, 5 things a day in a certain way, I just might want to have the presence of mind around discipline for that time. So self-love is a kind of an interesting thing because I've said this before, but self-love can kind of get you caught up in this idea that like I'm supposed to just do only what I love to do in this moment. It's all present moment, instant gratification. Just do what you feel like doing. Just do it what makes you happy. That's not what self-love is. Self-love actually has a strong element of actually saying, well, what do I want? And how can I honor what it is that I want in my longer term goals? And how can I commit to myself to do those things so that I actually do create the life that I want, so that I don't wake up when I'm 80 years old, God willing, and look back and say, I never had any discipline. I never really did the things I wanted to do because I was never really willing to take that real step toward committing to something. And taking a step toward committing to something does mean you have to take the risk of failure. You do, because you're going to let yourself down sometimes. You're not going to be able to do the things that you said you were going to do. And so you have to be willing to say, yeah, you know what? I put all that effort into that business and I disciplined and I, committed to doing something every single day. And I did, and I plugged along and the business never made it. Yep, that's true. You're going to have to deal with the disappointment that if you commit to really putting effort into saving your marriage, it might not save your marriage, but it might. And you might build that amazing business. And hopefully, this is the real key to it. Hopefully, you enjoyed your life along the way. Because creating the life that you want to be living doesn't mean that you don't enjoy the life that you're living in this very moment. Becoming who you are truly meant to be and living the life you're truly meant to be living isn't about dissing the life that you're living right now. It's about finding that balance of like, how can I love my life right now and also aspire to something more, aspire to be more me and to live more of the life that I actually am meant to be living here, right? So I want to make sure that we know that these habits are not meant to torture you. They're meant to provide you joy. In fact, that's one of the things we talk about is that along the way is to like claim the profits that you're getting from the things you're doing. I'm of the mind that it's best to be actually creating, like having a bigger vision of what you're trying to like reach for, but really making sure that whatever you're doing in this present day still does fill your cup. It still does excite you at a minimum. It excites you because you do aspire to something, but ideally it's something that you find a balance between enjoying what it is that you're doing, getting some of that, the dopamine hit from the joy that you're getting, but also reaching towards something else. All right, I hope that's helpful for you. I know that for me, like I'm just really sensitive to the preciousness of time right now, and I'm sensitive to the idea that doing the things that you really enjoy doing and not wasting your life away is really important. It's really, really important. And I know I sound like I'm a little bit in conflict here because I'm kind of saying do what you love to do every single day and form habits. And they seem like they're kind of against each other, but they're really not. And so how do you actually build the life that you really want to be living so you never look back with regrets? Or if you do look back with regrets, they're very small regrets because you really took the time to discover what it is that you really want and you really went for it. You really went for it. And you didn't settle for the way that you're living right now. You didn't settle for like, life is so hard and it's grueling and I can't motivate myself. You didn't just settle for that. You looked for like, okay, that's where I am right now. Okay. What's one thing I can do? One thing that's going to build my like energy, or one thing that's going to give me that feeling of excitement and joy in my life right now. That might be what you need. See, I have joy every single day of my life. I am living an incredibly joyous life these days. I mean, yes, do I have some loss that I'm facing and grief? Sure. And I also really love being able to be embracing the wide range of feelings of being a human being. And so even when I'm in the throes of grief, I can also be like deeply grateful for my human existence and me being here in this thing called life. I have a beautiful, amazing life that I've created and that I've been blessed with. And I'm deeply grateful for that. So a lot of my habits are really just kind of more life-enriching habits and me being really discerning about how do I really want to spend my time. So I invite you to meet this wherever you are. Your habits are your habits. Nobody can tell you what the best habit is. I mean, I just read this thing that said the one best habits you can have is reading every day. Well, that's true. It is an excellent habit, but is that the habit that you need right now? Maybe not. Maybe the habit you need right now is in sitting on the couch every day for 5 minutes and resting and not doing anything else. Or maybe right now it's about you bringing in things that really make you feel excited about life, something that's fun, a sense of playfulness, something that brings vibrancy and aliveness into your life. You get to decide. You get to decide it. It's a beautiful thing. All right. Thanks, everybody. If you enjoyed this video, please do click the thumbs up to like it. Also, if you're enjoying all these videos, please click subscribe and the bell next to it because then you'll get my videos sent right to you whenever I drop a new one. And it's good for me too. All right. Thanks, everybody.